when you do your job well enough, you disappear into a character so completely that other people relate to that soul.
Yeah.
And they see themselves.
Totally.
But then they somehow mistake you, the person, for that, and this culture of fame is created.
Yeah. Especially in film. I think in theatre there's more opportunity. It's simpler. In theatre, if someone sees me in a play, they know the difference between me and the character, and they know that I'm merely getting coffee and will be taking a shit at some point during the day.
Right.
And the conversation will be about the play. The conversation will be about the character. We will have a dialogue about who we are in relationship to the play. Don't get that same experience when it's a film or a TV show, I think. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. So many reasons. First of all, there's a screen. So there's that kind of separation between audience and that reality. And celebrity culture. Even this kind of propagates it in a way. Like me feeling like I'm, like, you know, there's a self-important thing. So I would love more consciousness around the role of the storyteller in society, because it's been enmeshed with the role of God.
Well, there's a royalty aspect to it as well.
Yeah, which I'm...
A removal of...
separation, an exaltation, a false worship of... and that's to do with, you know, actors on billboards, you know,
sure.
You know,
but
selling
it's very
perfume,
clear, it's very
whatever.
clear that you want to lead the life of a craftsman and a storyteller and an artist, whereas there may be a lot of people that get in your position that want to lead that exalted royalty life.
Well, who doesn't? There's a part of me that does. There's a part of me that loves that you know, we all have an ego. Like, my ego is like,
sure,
give it all to me. Give me everything. I want to eat it all. Like that's a part. That's a part. We all want to be a god. There's a part of us that wants that kind of exaltation.
But it's the opposite of connection, isn't it?
It is. It's total disconnect, and it's a culture of disconnect, as in the mainstream. But the storyteller, kind of like the fool, really needs to be the most human of all of us.
Right, and the story should be on the pedestal.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying.
That's the god in the room is the story.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do talk about that. And the thing that's the issue is, like, and you're so lucky. And you're so lucky to get to have a job that you love so much and to be able to do it every day. So, like, to complain about it is always, like, it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that would make me really mad, especially if I was the rehearsal Nazi.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I'm not lucky.
Yeah.
Like, you should have seen how many hours
But you're so fortunate to complain about something like people liking your work I don't mind if someone, like, at the grocery store, there was, like, a little boy, not little, he was, like, 13 with his mom, and he wants to be an actor, and he was very sweet, and I was really happy to talk to them and really happy to sneak a photo with him. What I'm not cool with is a man in a tinted window car following me to my home. So I pull over, I get out of my car.
You're not good with that?
No, I'm not good with that. I was so mad. It was a rainy day, and I pulled over, and I got out of my car, and I walked straight to his car, and he turned around. Because I was so mad. I just moved. And I was like, you're not going to find out where I live, buddy.
God, that's crazy.
And so I'm just, like, that's just not humane. I mean, there are a lot of things that aren't humane, and that shouldn't be on the top of the list, but that is uncomfortable. That part's uncomfortable.
I was 15.
Okay.
It was during the pilot, so I got the gig at the last minute, and he sat me down, and I was from New Mexico and was very, very green, and he sat me down and said, this industry is like surfing, is that you have to get on a surfboard and paddle through and wait for a long time, hoping that you catch a wave, and you'll try and catch them and you'll miss them and someone else will catch them and everyone will cheer. And eventually you'll catch a wave and you'll ride it and it'll be fantastic and you'll be really great and you'll get all the way to the end, and then the wave will inevitably crash and you'll have to turn around and you'll have to paddle back out and you'll have to get hit by waves as you get back out there. And then once you get out there, you're gonna have to sit around there for a long time waiting for another wave to come along. But the way that surfing works is that there are always sets of waves that will always come through, and that the goal is to be patient enough to value that metaphor.
Right.
And I did. So I think while I was worried that I may never work again, I managed to continue to work again. So I thought, well, I'm not getting gigs in LA. I'm only getting offered TV movies, which is not a bad thing. Like once a year I would get offered great money for 4 weeks in Toronto or Vancouver to film a Christmas film. But I always did kind of have that Botchko conversation in the back of my head, because I desired longevity more than I desired fame. I think the immediacy of fame, although it is an opiate, is certainly double-edged. And so fame like a shooting star, which is bright but dies out, I would much rather learn how to operate a telescope so I can have some kind of perspective and sit and wait for the next chapter.
In trying to recalibrate your whole life when you become famous, like that was a real moment for me, because it was like, you know, it took a couple years to try to find my feet again after Good Will Hunting. And I think I hid, my work really saved me, because I was able to still be an actor. Like movie crews don't care about, you know, any of this nonsense. They just want to work. And so I got to, work kind of shielded me from all that bullshit. The experience of becoming famous, what's the most bizarre about it is you know intellectually that the world is exactly the same as it was yesterday. Because it is. The same things that matter, you know, still matter. Sure. Except your subjective reality is altered forever, because everybody treats you differently. So the world, you know, the world is the same, but your world is absolutely different and never will be the same again. And I'd always heard people say, well, you can't prepare for it, you can't, it just is something that you just have to kind of deal with, and everybody just deals with it with whatever tools they have, whatever their foundation is. And you know, I was very lucky to have the family that I had and the people around me that I had who just never drank the Kool-Aid, and because you have to be a little more vigilant about keeping the dynamic, the kind of the power balance in all of your primary relationships exactly the same, because the world is trying to tell you that you should have more power even in those primary relationships. And of course you can't, or else you destroy those relationships. They have to remain the same.
My whole, you know, so much of my life has been in public that it's kind of the only way I know. You know, I was 18 when Dead Poets Society came out. I've made a fool out of myself, left, right, and center. You know, I've gotten divorced in public, I got famous public, I've gotten good reviews and bad reviews. And so, like, in a way, maybe I don't know how to have the conversation not in public, you know, maybe. It's the thing that nobody tells you is when you know, shortly after Reality Bites came out, it's like I never made a first impression ever again. It's a weird thing to give up, because it's the idea that you can start again tomorrow. It's valuable to all of us, you know? I can be better tomorrow. And I've always resisted it. You know, there's a thing I've always believed. You know, when they really want to make you crazy in prison war camp or anywhere, they put you in isolation, right? The thing I realized, the second you become famous, you're kind of in a weird isolation. People want to know why famous people marry other famous people so often or something like that, you know? It's because they're in ISO with them. I just did this beautiful talk. It was kind of heartbreaking to me in a strange way. I did this talk at this university about some students, and I was trying to talk to them and trying to be, to the best of my ability or whatever, I was trying to be real with these young kids. They're 20, 25 or whatever. But nobody really wants me to be real. They just want a photo, you know? And it's kind of heartbreaking, because you go like, I'm actually here. And if you really do like me, like, let's talk. You seem really interesting. You're a bunch of film students. I actually was looking forward to come here because I'm really curious what you guys are thinking about right now. Like, what's happening? Yeah. But that dialogue was never going to happen because I was behind a glass wall. It's me, like, tapping on the back of the glass, hoping it'll break a little bit.
Right.
You know, we're just the same, all of us.